It's been a very solid return to goal for Clare's number one, Donald Toohey, after a 4-year absence. The half-back line shows change with Shane O'Morey replacing David Fitzgerald following his impressive second-half display in Semple Stadium. Peter Duggan was heroic in Clare's first win in Thurles against Tiff for 90 years. And a start this week also for Podge Collins. It couldn't be otherwise, really, after his tour de force last Sunday when he struck 3 superb points. Opposing them will be a Limerick team with Nicky Quaid in goal, playing his 29th championship match. Limerick's half-back line has knitted together well, with Declan Hannon returning to action last week, having been injured in the early minutes of the draw with Cork. Wing forward Garrod Hagerty got his first ever championship goal against Waterford last Sunday, on a day when Shane Dowling returned to action and scored 15 points. Nicky Quaid landing this one in the middle of the park. Rising up for David Reedy. All the way back here as far as Conor Cleary. Into top of the right. John Conlon going out there. Taking his man Mike Casey out with him. Trying to make an angle for himself. Very useful looking shot. Very fine point indeed. Good start by John Conlon. Dan Morrissey pursued vigorously by Reedy. Trying to stall his progress. Morrissey does well. Throws it back as far as Graham Mulcahy. Back here as far as Tom Morrissey. Trying to split the post. He looks like he's got it right on cue and beautifully over the bar. A lovely point by Tom Morrissey. Colm Galvin tries to break it down. Onto it very quickly and very strongly is David Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald! He'd love to score, he may well have done so. What an introduction to this championship match by David Fitzgerald. Conor Cleary plays it back into the middle once again. Dan Morrissey trying to break it down to himself. Peter Duggan winning it instead for Clare. They take it up once more. It's Kelly getting involved. Switching it across to David Fitzgerald, who scored a few moments ago, who's feeling good about it perhaps. Drives it in and puts it over the bar. How about that for a passage of play? It's Malone, full of determination. There were 5 or 6 players after him, and in the end it was Tom Condon who won it. But the attack continues. Great ball from Conlon across, and the end shot is a really good one. Jamie Shanahan. Clare protesting vigorously. Tom Condon's in the thick of the action, just behind the goal. He's got a red card, and Limerick lose a man, and they do so after 32 minutes.
Here it is again now. Here's Condon. Oh, the handle of the hurl. Yeah, we didn't see that earlier. That's a red.
Oh, he really has let Limerick and himself down with that.
That's very, very nasty.
That is terribly, terribly nasty and silly.
David really doesn't deserve a yellow, and he's going to get one. You saw the little bit of a push he gave Dermot Burns.
Yeah. It's got a red card.
That is absolutely crazy. That's an absolute disgraceful red card.
All the way down towards Shane Dowling, has to scamper across, pursued by Patrick O'Connor. Dowling holding on to it, across towards Seamus Flanagan, lets it bounce, taking on McInerney, going forward with purpose. Very, very stylishly done. There was nobody able to get a block on that. That was a lovely point by Seamus Flanagan, and he's got his first. Over it goes here towards Hagerty. Catches a beauty ahead of his man Fitzgerald, leaves him for dead, and finishes with some aplomb. That was a beautiful score. First of the day for Garrod Hagerty, but it all came from that lovely pass downfield and a magnificent catch.
Yeah,
looks so confident.
That's what he wants, one-on-one. He wants a ball in the air. He doesn't want it low to his feet.
Broken down towards Cathal Malone. Kept in play. Cian Lynch trying to pinch it in there as well as Kyle Hayes. As Lynch who gets it into Gillan. Man has just come on, ready to make his presence felt. What about that for a fine score? Showing everybody just what he is capable of. Got a very silly red card in the game against Cork, but he's back and he's part of the action and he's firing. Collins looking up, seeing where Kelly was, giving it to the main man, former hurler of the year in 2013. Holds on, holds off the challenge of Mike Casey. Back as far as Peter Duggan, and Peter Duggan has got one from play here. 2 at the end of the match against Tip last week, 1 here, and that's 11 for the day, made for him by Kelly. Goalkeeper Donald Toohey ready to hit this. Clare looking to get the next score. Peter Duggan trying to make some advances here, helped out beautifully by Ian Galvin into Tony Kelly, and Kelly might finish it off here with a 3rd point, all in the second half. It's a particularly good performance by Tony Kelly and by his team, so they stretch the lead once again here, 6 between them. Well, they're taking the chance, as you say. Shane Dowling to try and take advantage of this scoring opportunity, and it's been missed again. A horrible second half by Limerick, really wretched in front of goal. Cross towards Ian Galvin. I'm sure a player who'd like to be getting a lot more game time has shown us in the past what he's capable of doing. Here's his brother Colm, keeping it away from the other number 8, Darragh O'Donovan. Out as far as Peter Duggan. Duggan looks at it admiringly, as well he might. He's got another one from open play. He's got 12.
Well, he's been absolutely brilliant, Ger, and Colm Galvin again showing his experience, took his time on the ball, flicked it out unselfishly, and Duggan is having another master game here for Clare.
Well, those who doubt Clare and their capacity to do well this year should have a look at this second half. They've been really, really good. Podge hits it in. He was given a nudge in the back by Kyle Hayes immediately afterwards. Play continues with John Conlon, swinging it in and swinging it over the bar. Everything is working like magic right now. John Conlon's got 4 points. Tony Kelly's got 4 points. Peter Duggan's got 12. And Clare are absolutely lording it over the rivals and neighbours from Limerick. And the referee has blown the final whistle, and it's a very convincing win by Clare. They have won this match by a total of 11 points. Some win against a Limerick side that so many people were saying we're really going places this time. Well, they will be. We'll be seeing them again in this championship. But the full-time score here in Cusack Park reads Clare 26 points, Limerick 15.
Limerick poured everything, all remaining energy into, containing us against the wind. So in the second half, they had nothing left. And I think, playing them there, that was their 3rd week out. If we had to go again next Sunday, I doubt if we would be able to do so. So I think that was a major factor in the game today.
I think really it's about resetting for us, There was always going to be a setback somewhere along our journey, and today is that. Well subpar performance. We lacked energy, we lacked, that element, that X factor we've had all along. And I think, fair play to Clare, they were fantastic today, all over the pitch, moved the ball really well, they were full of energy, and they were full value for the win. So hats off to them, they've earned their place in the Munster final.
Yes, and let's see how it all finished in what was one of the most memorable Munster hurling campaigns we've ever had. Clare and Cork in the final. It's probably in Thurles, but that will be confirmed tomorrow. Well, Anthony Daly, nobody, I think, expected that margin of victory. And is it fair to say Clare have come a long way? Were they kind of getting stick in the county after losing to Cork and after a poor finish to the league?
Yeah, a little bit, Des, I suppose. Won the All-Ireland 5 years ago, won the league in 16, and then, we just haven't been back in Croke Park, and that was kind of this golden generation, 321s. The 2 boys took over last year. Everyone allowed last year, their first year settling in. Started the league on fire and then tapered off in the league and then lost in Cork. So there was a little bit of that, but I'm delighted for the boys. The lads responded. I suppose the Waterford game came at the right time. Things didn't go great for Waterford. Kicked on. I suppose if Jake Morris's ball had hit the post and gone in last week, we wouldn't be talking about this. But the hope all week was that we got a bit of luck, could we kick on from it? And the park is a great fortress for Clare, and I did feel we'd win our 2 home games, and if we could get something else somewhere else, we could be in a Munster final, and that's where it's great to be back to back Munster finals for the first time since the 90s.
And the public have really seemed to have bought into the team.
Massive day today down there. Would have loved to have been there, Des, but they're giving me plenty slagging about not being there. And
Marie, there was huge hype about Limerick during the week, and wasn't there enough? lot of hype, and they didn't live up to it. Is that the 3-week games in 3 weeks? What do you think?
Yeah, it's been a hectic schedule, and it probably did take its toll on them. I think the home game, that has had a huge, toll as well on the championship this year so far. Any teams that have had a home game, they've played really, really well. And like Limerick are a very young team too, and all this hype, maybe they mightn't have dealt with it as well as more experienced players. And today in Cusack Park, like Clare just went at them real hard, and it's well documented all week that Limerick hate coming to Cusack Park, and I think that's going to live on for another year now.
All right. Well, Eddie, you've been looking at Clare and where they dominated in certain areas.
Yeah, I think coming out in the build-up to it, they certainly got their tactics right. I mean, they had plenty of time to look at Limerick, and I think the first of that was they placed Dave McInerney on Seamus Flanagan, and this quite early in the match. I mean, really tight, letting them know. Flanagan, was in for a frustrating afternoon. I think 1 point. Normally he's been one of their go-to men. Another go-to man today has been Graham Mulcahy, and Jack Brown went on him. And it wasn't that there was any spectacular hurling done for the cornerbacks, but they just got their tactics right. They were really tight on them. And you see here Tony Kelly, this is an aspect that we don't maybe highlight enough with Tony Kelly. I'd be saying I don't like to see him there, but that was a great hook, patience. And then we have a great sequence of play here where Peter Duggan, goes in, does the hard work. Tony gets the eyes up, and David Fitzgerald, when he came in for an injury early in the match, this was the first of his pair of absolutely super points for Clare in the first half. And this is maybe a throwback a bit of the old guard in action. Jamie Shannon finds Tony, low ball into Podge out on the sideline, and again uses all his cuteness here, works the free, knows maybe I'm not going to outpace Dan Morrissey or Richie English, but he does really well to draw the free. And then at the dying part of the match, Podge again central to things, and what a beautiful pass, the weight on that pass. And Jack Brown probably doing what he does for his years as a club player, throws it off to Tony and lets Tony do the finishing. But that was just, I think you have to put a certain level of down to Limerick lacking the real cut and trust that they've had so far, and maybe that comes from having young guys there. Maybe a few experienced lads will get them up for that match, but you'd have to say credit to Clare. After the first fall at the first jump, they're ticking over nicely now, and you'd say, look, this is ideal for them now. Momentum is underneath them. I mean, that brings you back into training now next week. The chest is out and you're looking forward to a Munster Championship final, and you just say, look, things are ticking over nicely.
Limerick people wonder why didn't they reproduce the form of the last few weeks. Illustrate where you think it might have gone wrong.
Yeah, there's just thought John Kiley touched on it there. He said we didn't have the X factor. Well, I thought they played a lot of aimless stuff today, which we haven't associated with them all year. Right from the get-go, like Nicky Quaid giving a shout, like Dermot Burns has been brilliant in the championship so far, but just today, like it went back maybe to the long stuff, like Conor Cleary reading that all day today, very comfortable. Declan Hannon, like we look at this ball, like you don't associate this ball with the way Limerick have hurled all year. It's just a nothing ball down on top of Clare of next round. There's Graham Mulcahy. Look at all the space. We're associating Mulcahy running into that space all year and the ball being delivered, but it's so comfortable for Clare back there. Cian Lynch, simple ball ahead of him was to Shane Dowling, who would have shot for a point. He picks out David Fitzgerald, who sets up another Clare attack. Gerard Hagerty, same thing, just long ball in. Patrick O'Connor just really has to break it. He knows Jamie Shanahan, who was superb all day, is back there to help, and he's quite comfortable on the ball. Beautiful striker, covered all day long. Richie English again here down 2-on-1. Davy Max just out in front, touches it off to Fitzgerald and another attack. And Darragh Donovan again. This one here is bizarre really, because Shane Dowling's on the edge of the square, all the space is to his right. As we're looking at it there now, the Clare defenders are getting back, and it's just straight down Patrick O'Connor's throat. Richie English, all year they've been working through the lines. It's just, if I'm playing right corner back or full back here as Davy Mack comes across, I'm loving that ball down the line clearance. He goes crossfield to Jamie Shanahan. This is so, John touched on it, they were lacking that X factor today, Des, and maybe it's tiredness, maybe they put so much into the 14 men draw below in Cork, and then putting Waterford away so early last week. They were devastating last week. I think Ennis is a factor as well. I think they don't like coming out. Look at it, they've beaten us loads of time out there. Under 21s came out in hockey does a few weeks ago there. So, but even the beaten us loads of time out there. Under 21s came out in hockey does a few weeks ago there. So,
but even the first free, you know, you said that sets the tone, and then even the second one, I mean, for me, all the real, you look at Duggan on the other end, he's nailing all the frees, Joe Canning is nailing them, and that's something that you say in tight championship matches, and like the first one, you say, that doesn't matter in the overall, they won but lost by 10 points, but early in the match, that sets the tone.
And Peter Duggan has really nailed that end of it for Clare.
Exactly, he's been superb all summer, but where do Clare need to improve ahead of the Munster final?
I suppose, you know, it's 2013 replay since Clare have beaten Cork in a championship game, so I think they'll come away from today delighted, but I think they'll have to bring it up a notch or two to beat Cork in a Munster final. You know, one thing they need to tidy up on is a couple of frees. I think lots of Clare players back here, David McInerney and Jack Brown are in, and Tom Morrissey. You know, I think if they could have held him up here, there's a little tug of the arm, you'll see it from the other angle now here, and it's a simple free for Dowling, you know, little tug of the arm, 2 guys on him, it was a 2v1, you know, I think if they held their metal a bit more they would have got it. In this one here, O'Connor, I think the option is to go back to the goalie, he puts a ball across to Galvin, it's a sloppy first touch, Kyle Hayes is there and he cleans up, and look, it's a trip, and in the end Galvin picks up a yellow card and it's a free in, and again those kind of frees are bread and butter to the likes of Patrick Horgan the next day for Cork. Here just to thank David McInerney, I thought he could have gone down the line, he decides to take a step inside, he spills the ball, lucky he gets a second chance, but again the next day the likes of Kingston, Meade, Horgan, those guys aren't Harnedy, like there won't be any second chances I think for Clare, so look, the 2 guys will be happy. Going away from Innis today with an 11-point win was fantastic, but I think they'll still know that they have a good bit of work to do before a Munster final in 2 weeks' time.
Okay, now the big talking point today, well, question was the 2 sendings off, the red cards. So Anthony.
Yeah, look, Des, I mean, I don't know where, you know, they came up, but it was a brilliant crossfield ball that started the whole thing from John Conlon to Jamie Shanahan, up from wing back, scores a point. And the drama started before that, because it's just a coming together here. We see David Reedy and Diarmaid Burns, I don't think they even see each other, they just happen to bounce off each other. I think he wins Diarmaid Burns, nothing deliberate in that. Diarmaid is down, you know, you see Tom Conlon here, he's looking out the field, he doesn't know what has happened behind him, and all of a sudden
and I just think it's a real
he comes back, and you know,
it's a real rush of blood to the head from Tom Condon, because he doesn't know what's going on, and you're just kind of saying, you're given a referee, and look, I don't think he went to hit him in that particular spot, but that is a lethal dig at a hurl into a place that can really, really do serious damage. And I just think you'd expect maybe a little bit more from Tom Condon. He knows himself tonight that that's mad. Now when we get on to this bit here, I suppose this is the big talking point, because I want to know is who's talking to James Owens on his headset that tells him, after sending off Tom Condon, now to go in and consult with the umpires. James Owens, to me, looks like he's having doubts there about what's going on, and I suppose I'm very curious as to why David Reedy has got a red, because I don't see anything wrong with himself and Diarmaid Burns coming together.
Just to clarify, you don't think he did anything?
No, I don't think he did, and I think when Tom Condon comes at him, right, and you're standing there and a fella runs 20 yards and hops off you, he's coming at you a second time, I think you're entitled to block a fella or defend yourself. I didn't see a strike from him. I don't see anything that deserves a red card, and it's not a red.
Yeah, well, I think Liam Sheedy covered it. I think that'll be rescinded, Des. I'd be shocked if it wasn't. When you look at it there, it's straightforward. Nothing really happened between Burns and Reedy. I'd say Diarmaid was coming across anticipating a ball in and hopped off him and got winded, because Diarmaid Burns doesn't go down too easy either, let's face it.
Like, social media is dominated by the mistake by the umpires or referee or whoever made the mistake. The strike by Tom Condon is a very dirty strike. I mean, you said it could have caused.
Yeah, look, I don't think he was aiming for there.
But what was he aiming at? Why did he do it?
No, but he just went to dig. I think, look, we have to give Tom maybe a slight benefit. I don't think he aimed for that particular spot. However, you can argue he's been reckless a little bit. But I just think that
it's more than a little bit. I mean, like
it is, Des. Look, and we're not trying to, I suppose, run a train over Tom Condon here. I mean, I think from the other side of it, he gave a referee an easy opportunity to send him off, and when his team needs him in a circumstance
especially
like that,
down on top of the Aaron Gillane one, like, do you know, you
don't need to do that.
Won't get away with this stuff. Now David Reedy must be wondering tonight, like, why am I getting the same treatment?
It brings the argument of VAR, Des. I think, look, Seamus, or if you're James Owens, wouldn't you like to be able to have a look at that and make up your mind and give a rationale for a decision? I'm very curious as to what went on in that conversation.
Okay, it's time to name our man of the match from today. So Eddie, you have the nominees.
Yeah, we again there was supposed to be Peter Duggan was the loser today in a way, but John Conlon is our first nominee. The Clonlara man has been just, I suppose, really a centre point of the Clare attack. 4 points again today, was flying it, had a new man, the new man got a hold of him and he came again. Jamie Shanahan is our second nominee, the 6 Mile Bridge man. Really thundered into the game today, on the ball an awful lot, played that spare role for Clare and got a point as well. And then our final nominee was Tony Kelly, quiet in the first half, still done a hell of a lot of work, and then when the match was there to be won, he roared into it with 4 super points.
Right, I know there was lots of debate on Marie. Who did you give it to in the end?
Yeah, there was. It was a tough decision, but in the end we went for Jamie Shanahan. We thought that he played the free role so well. He mopped up a huge amount of ball and then he distributed it really cleverly. He also chipped in with a point, as Eddie said, from wing back, and he prevented Limerick cutting through that Clare defence. And I just thought that he played a really important role there today as the spare man, and he stood out for us today.
Alright then, well, let's hear from Jamie. He spoke with Damien after the match.
Jamie, congratulations, a very hard fought win. Off the back of last week, that must be a particularly satisfied dressing room to have come from.
Yeah, thanks very much. I suppose after the Waterford win here, we had to set down a marker that we weren't just a one-shot pony, and we went to Thurles and scraped out a victory, and I think we wanted to prove to ourselves that we were able to prove Ennis is a tough place to come to, and thank God we got the win there today and hurled well. We've to look forward to a Munster final. We just can't wait to get another crack at Cork.
Congratulations, you are the Bord Gáis Energy man of the match, and with your presentation, the sponsorship manager with Bord Gáis Energy, Sorga Fennel Sheehan.
Now it's